Do you see anybody you have an interest in voting for?
Hey, man, I say my prayers, and I'm a spiritual person. And I'm gonna let God settle all this craziness and all this.
But we can't all do that,
Yeah,
Eddie.
yeah, but that's what I'm doing, man. You know, that's what I'm doing. I think it's a higher power than all of it. I think it's a higher power than government. I think it's a higher power than all of those things. And I've been let down personally. You feel let down, and you feel like you're a victim. I've had all that stuff in my life, you know. And I'm down with that higher power. That's who I give my vote.
But isn't that kind of like being a slave on the plantation and just singing and saying, Lord will make a way?
How you figure?
Just sing. And like, Lord will make a way instead of whipping some ass or voting.
But what's that gonna accomplish by whipping some ass and voting?
It will accomplish more than just praying. I think prayer must be accompanied by some kind of action.
Oh, but see, that's if you feel that the government is doing things for you. You feel like the government is helping you out and doing things for you and has your best interest in hand.
That's why I'm going to vote, because I believe.
But have you ever felt like that? Have you ever felt?
I'll just keep voting until I find somebody who has my interest in hand.
Wait now. But who's tripping then? If you just going down in the booth and pulling this lever, and I'm singing, who's tripping? Who's to say what happens when you go pull a lever and they say, oh yeah, we counted the votes and there's this and who knows what goes on, man?
I know, but
you have nothing. Hey, Chief, you have nothing to do with any of it. Any of it. There's some cats that run this thing. I'm not doing this. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, he's crazy and rock the vote and all that. But there are a bunch of cats that run this planet, and they just wait on the higher power to handle things. I mean, read your Bible. Read your Bible. Read your Bible. I read Revelations. They ain't say nothing about, thou shalt rock the vote. rock thine right to vote.
I think that's satirically sound, but I really think you got to rethink that concept. Where were you doing the riots? You were out here, right?
I was watching.
Call hello, Yahweh, Bashim Yashai, Bashim Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. Shalom to you of us who are hopeful. Shalom to the elect. Now, that opening clip is a perfect representation of where we Israelites sit today. The elect, represented by Mr. Eddie Murphy here in the hot seat, telling you what time it really is, and the two-thirds represented by Arsenio Hall, ifing and butting, telling you to take matters into your own hands instead of trusting in the Lord. Now, Eddie Murphy asked a valid question. Have you ever felt like the people who propose to rule over you have your best interests at heart? I'm talking to you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians specifically. Really, you so-called people of color, and to an extent, those who don't look like us, but it is ever so apparent they are held subject to the same curses that affects the so-called black and brown people today, being the last hired, the first fired. Never mind not having the right address or living in the right zip code for filling out a job application, a product of low income housing, if you will, coming from a single parent home, struggling to make ends meet. Generational wealth didn't miss a generation, it skipped your family entirely. Do you feel like the party your parents have voted for years, the same party that hopes to secure your vote now, do you think they care about you and the fact that you don't have two pennies to rub together, no pot to piss in, never mind a window to throw it out of? If you ever did, I promise you're second guessing that idea now. Well, at least you should be. No coincidence the word used to describe the performing of what is known today as a transactional relationship between master and slave is the same English translated spelling for being hated and persecuted. Matter of fact, to be jobbed used to mean being cheated and betrayed. Now, Eddie Murphy hit the nail on the head. For years, it's been evident the world of many are ruled by the class of a few. It is those who live in a higher tax bracket that have all the say-so. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus 13 and 23. And it says this: When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look, what he saith, they extol it to be Salakia, they extol it to the clouds, meaning they treat his every word as if Yahweh had commissioned it himself. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, speaking to stumbling over words, to struggle, to mispronounce, stutter, waver, even freeze up, they will help to overthrow him, like a leader that has lost favor in the sight of his people. Ergo, the smaller your income is, the less say so you have. Proverbs 22:7, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. An example of this is the idea of being free under the guise of the Emancipation Proclamation. Ever since we Israelites have been so-called emancipated and afforded the right to work for wages, understand what we earn is a mere fraction to what is really being made by those we work for. In the etymology dictionary, the word emancipate is translated as such. 1620s, set free from control. From Latin, emancipatus, past particle of emancipare, put a son out of paternal authority, to declare someone free, give up one's authority over. In Roman law, Roman and Latin being the language, Salakia, Latin being the language of the devil. Shalom to the elder Malcolm from Chicago who brought that out. The freeing of a son or wife from the legal authority, patria potestas, as Salakia, of the pater families to make his or her own way in the world, from assimilated form of X, out, away, CX, mancipere, deliver, transfer, or sell, from mancipum, ownership from manus, hand, from Proto-Indo-European root, hand plus capir, to take, from Proto-Indo-European root, to grasp. So ergo, emancipate simply means to transfer from one hand of rule to another. More simply put, to transfer from one master to another, from one plantation to the next, from southern fields to northern industrial corporations, if you will. We are nothing more than minimum wage slaves being offered so-called legal tender or monetary currency. Today we know it to be debt currency as a means of exchange, leaving us subject to taxes, which makes us physical slaves turned into contractual ones. We are slaves to a system that was never intended for we so-called people of color to succeed, to gain power, or to rise up. The rich make the rules and we remain captives to their declaration of unrighteous decrees designed to keep us captive. Isaiah 10:1 is the precept there. Matter of fact, the American Constitution and the Bill of Rights does not apply to so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians. It applies to so-called white people, really the nation of Esau, Edom, because there is no such thing as black or white, and Esau isn't white, he's red. When the Constitution and its governing laws were written, we weren't, and even today still are not considered to be real men or people. Let's go to the book of Revelation, as Eddie Murphy suggested. I guarantee you that interview was one of, never mind the whole episode at the Oscars, for those of you who, I don't know, I guess I'm telling my age here, but I guarantee you that interview was one of several reasons Eddie Murphy was canceled before cancel culture was even a thing. Revelation 13:11 is the go-to for me here, and it says this: and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Now, the dragon was and is the rule of the ancient Roman Empire through Esau's spiritual counterpart, the spiritual demon, Satan. The other rulership here, described as a beast coming out of the earth, is modern day Rome, aka Babylon the Great. We know that to be America, the land of the thieves, home of the slaves. A beast because wild beasts are ruthless, having no concept of right and wrong or conscious, and are slaves to their instincts. It says the beast had two horns like a lamb. Well, lambs are known to be peaceful and meek, while horns represent power and rulership. Ergo, the rulership spoken of here is silent in its undertakings, meaning it is covert in its efforts and ultimately in its true intentions. Now, American democracy is exactly that, a two-pronged system set up to divide and pacify the people being ruled. Demo finds its root in the word demon. Crassi speaks to rule. Democracy translates to literally being ruled by demons. Just like ancient Rome had the plebeians and the patricians, modern day Rome, America, has the Republicans and the Democrats. The truth of the matter is America's political system and right to vote is an illusion set up to divide and control its citizens. Officials are not elected, they are selected. Ironically enough, you know where the first place these parties go during election season? The evangelicals, the church. Esau Edom's rulership is just old rulerships such as Greco-Rome reincarnated. In order to get ahead in Esau society, you have to know Latin and Greek. Latin if you want to be a lawyer, and Greek in the spirit of Hippocrates if you want to practice medicine. In fact, American architecture and its infrastructure is modeled after Greco-Rome. American sports arenas are modeled after Roman Colosseums. Capitol Hill, the place designated to conduct political business in America, is modeled after Capitoline Hill in Rome. Rome had a Senate. America has its Senate. Again, America, nothing more than a pagan Rome revisited. Spake as a dragon speaks to the draconian laws America is governed by and the harsh measures of punishment it hands out for any offenses against it. As much as America rallies around the idea and really against other countries it claims have a blatant disregard for human rights, Babylon the Great was formed with and truly rules today with an iron fist. Speaking of iron fist, let's go to Exodus 21 and 16. And it says this: "And he that stealeth a man," which Esau did, our captivity, never mind our labor, wasn't voluntary, it was forced, "and selleth him," which Esau also did, "or if he be found in his hand," which we still are. Hand in the Hebrew is the word yad, which means strength or power, from the Hebrew word kaf. Simply put, we are still under the subjection of this, our captor, under his power and will. He shall surely be put to death, which is what we are here to teach, preach, and prophesy. Not only him as an individual or as an individual nation, but as a rulership, as a government. He shall surely be put to death. So speaking to that great and terrible day of the Lord, if you will. In it, the return of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and all righteousness, which we hopeful men of the elect are all looking forward to. Until that time, we are still found in his hand today through the many agreements we are forced to live under, called adhesion contracts, your birth certificate, social security, or your social insurance number for those north of the border. All examples of contractual agreements instituted by the global elitists and top banking families. We who require rights as so-called citizens to receive the benefits of such, like the right to work, the right to travel or drive, and the so-called right to vote, must adhere to them. Job 9 and 24 says, "The earth is given into the hands of the wicked," as the elders like to say. Wicked hands, wicked world. You and I know that a wicked world is a cold one, so no, the powers that shouldn't be don't have your best interests at heart. Furthermore, speaking to the example I laid out, referencing the opening clip, the scriptures speak of a conspiracy of kings, i.e. the covert undertaking of world leaders, which is to destroy the true Hebrew Israelites, no matter the color. The true sons of God, the true children of light and not darkness, the only begotten children of the Most High Power, whose true name is Yahweh, the true Israel of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yahushai being the true name of the only begotten Son of the Most High, only begotten because he, as well as Israel properly, Yasharallah, was made with a special purpose in mind, a special judgment to come to pass, and a task to carry out. Psalm 83, great go-to here, but for now, let's go to Psalm 2 and 1, equally as important, because it says this: "Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?" The heathen are the other nations. The vain thing they imagine is they, starting with Esau, Edom, is going to share rulership with the people of the Lord in the kingdom. All the while, Esau is planning to use transhumanism to exalt himself above the Most High and fight the return of Yahushua with his space force. But you know how the old saying goes: your arms are too short to box with God. Psalm 2 and 2, speaking to the point: "The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying..." Now, the world leaders, the technocrats, look that word up, in Silicon Valley, who really make the decisions regarding what initiatives should be implemented in society. I mean, look at how that's going. Uh, they are the puppet masters behind the curtain that Eddie Murphy alluded to. It is they that imagine the vain things that will not prosper against Yahweh and the election, starting with Yahweh Shai of Israel. Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. Ergo, the other nations have long tried and are still trying to break our bonds with the Heavenly Father and His Son by separating us first from our lineage, cast away our cords, meaning trying to hide the fact that we are, in fact, the Hebrew Israelites the Bible speaks of. And only in Yahweh, Yahweh Shai alone can we hope to obtain any kind of victory. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Even though Eddie Murphy said it in jest, the idea there still remains. Where in the scriptures does it tell you that casting a vote, i.e., trusting in selected officials, is going to take care of all your problems, your wants, and what you really need to make it? Matter of fact, the scriptures advise almost the complete opposite. Psalms 118:8 says this: "It is better to trust in the Lord Yahweh than to put confidence in man." It is better to trust in Yahweh than to put confidence in princes, meaning government rulership. All nations compassed me about, said by King David, easily applying to Yahweh Shai and the house of David, we Israelites. But in the name of the Lord Yahweh will I destroy them. Yahweh laughs at them for attempting to upset his promises and his covenant, if you will, with Israel. Furthermore, just as the crowd was laughing with Eddie Murphy, Yahweh mocks them in their disbelief. So stay strong, Israel. I didn't intend for this to be too long. There will be more days like this. There are many more scoffers and scorners to come. Even now, that was Eddie Murphy speaking to the Perot, Clinton, and George Bush race back in 1992, and how true does it ring today? Nevertheless, keep your eyes on the prize, fast and pray without ceasing. Don't forget to laugh at these willful idiots, because we are almost home, Yasharallah. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Yashai Bashem Rakakwadash through the power and spirit. I hope you are edified. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach us 100% truth and rule well. Shalom to you of us, again, who are hopeful. Remember, no test, no yab, and damn sure, don't take that C to the H to the I to the P. Shalom, Yasharallah. Shalom to the elect.